This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at Stockton Con.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of Stockton Con. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out the Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother.
Oh boy, if you didn't know, now you should. Welcome to the Party Lottie Dottie, and we're gonna get started right here with your AEW Dynamite post-show review. Excuse me for sneezing there. It came on as soon as I came on the air. Isn't that wonderful? As soon as we go live, I had to sneeze. There we go. I got myself choked up there. I went to sneeze again and then got choked up, and yeah, it took me a second to recover. Give me a minute. Oh, am I allergic to AEW? Maybe that's the whole trigger here. I got to talk about AEW, and it's got me all riled up. Welcome to the show. Welcome to your AEW. I see. I can't even talk now. Welcome to your AEW Dynamite and Rampage post-show review for May 1st. It's a brand new month. We are 4 months past the beginning. We're heading into summer, and here we are. It's May, ladies and gentlemen. May 1st. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Join in the conversation. Join in the chat. Tell me what you liked about tonight's show. Tell me what you didn't like about this show. It seems like everybody, a big majority, says this show is average, or this is Dynamite, which we've come to expect. Somebody thought that Redacted is booking this show. In some instances, I can feel you there. Anyways, as soon as I get myself together here, I'm sorry. We start with our EVPs. We start with the Tony Khan video from Jacksonville, where he's in the office, still giggling like a schoolgirl, and I'm just thinking that this guy's over here talking about Kenny Omega. He's doing this opening. I'm just like, you should be in pain and extenuate that to everybody. Oh, I was jumped. And secondly, you should be angered. You should be ready to say that consequences are going to be handed down for this assault on me. I am the boss. I am the man behind this company. And he's over there talking it up the show. And then we get into, yes, I know. Then we get into the Young Bucks cutting him off, and they bring up the fact that they will run the show since Tony Khan's not here. They can't get fired because they have ironclad contracts. And I can't tell if I am running. So if somebody's out there and can see this, let me know if the show is running, because from my end, it looks like I am stuck. So please let me know. You can read me loud and clear in the chat. Or are we going to have to come back? Good. Good. Everything on this end just looks like it's stuck. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm on the end and it's just going to look stuck. But, yes. The cat's not even happy about this show. But anyways, yeah, we opened up. Tony Khan started talking and he got intercepted by the Young Bucks. They said they had ironclad contracts so they can't get fired and that they're running the show. I felt Tony Khan missed the opportunity to be here. I mean, he's been on TV with the NFL draft all week, doing his thing. And I felt like it just missed the mark. And then, of course, his comments about WWE being the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling really didn't set anything good and positive, because it's like in that opportunity, he had the opportunity to promote his company, promote Swerve as the new AEW World Champion, and tell us why to watch Dynamite, and he missed that opportunity. And in the night, he opens the show, and he should have been mad, he should have been angry, he should have been upset, he should have showed that he was attacked, that he was hurt. And even in his brief segment before he got cut off, we didn't get any of that. So it was what it was. The Young Bucks are here. They have ironclad contracts. At least they gave us a reason. And so from there, we start the show with a new entrance that features the new Elite in the intro. The Young Bucks, Okada and Jack Perry. Nobody else. And then we start with Swerve's house. Yes, Swerve Strickland grabs the mic. Says he's had 3 matches, 3 shows in 1 week. Cool. Did it really do anything for you? This is the type of champion he is, the type of champion he wants to be, and what we deserve. What we don't deserve are power-hungry EVPs that do what they want. He says what they did was a bitch move, and it'll be handled at some point. But as for his opponent at Double or Nothing, we're going to find out who that is. Still recovering, so bear with me. I do not know why we're having such issues on this thing tonight. Anywho, keep me updated if something's funky on the monkey on anybody's end if the feed goes down, because it's just showing me that all types of things are not receiving anything. Okay, there you go. Now it's back to a healthy stream. Why are we jumping around tonight? Let's get out of here. Let's restart this up again, and let's see if everything's running as smooth as it should be. We've been having... God, I can't recover. We've been having great streams until this week, so we'll have to see. Anyway, Swerve is talking. The EVPs come on the string, cut him off. They say that success has gotten to his head, and the first big show he uses to his first big show he uses to badmatch the EVP, and he needs a dose of humility. They have the best opponent for Double or Nothing for him, a former champion, someone who hasn't been around for a while, but is well deserving nonetheless. This was a big setup because there was a lot of talk about Kenny Omega coming back. I think it was a big setup, and a lot of people were getting like, oh, we're going to get Omega. And what we got was Christian Cage. Christian comes down with his family. Cage grabs the mic. He looks to talk, walks toward Swerve and knocks Swerve in the head with mic, takes down Swerve. They attack him. Kill switch attack. Cage grabs Swerve and hits him with the kill switch on the belt. They take out Nana. Cage grabs the mic, says he never forgot. He remembers when Swerve broke into Wayne's gym and left him in a bloody mess. He also remembers when he tagged with Swerve and Swerve lost. He's been waiting for the right moment to make it all right, and there's no better time than right now. Cage is sure to kick Swerve around a bit while cutting his promo. He's going to embarrass Swerve and end his reign. Before it even really begins, we heard the speech last week talking about his path to the title, to the point where his daughter feels like he doesn't even know him. When Cage is finished with him, his daughter won't even want to know him. But he will say this: Swerve's daughter will have a father that she can be proud of for the rest of her life. Gag, gag, gag. Cage, this is Winnipeg. He's going to rip the title off the hands of Swerve, and then they rip a dread out of Swerve's head, or Kill Switch does. And so we get the big announcement: Double or Nothing. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. And Hi, Christian Cage lost the TNT title. People are like, oh, the Christian Cage Adam Copeland story is not over yet. And we can't wait to see where it goes from here. And we've got nothing. And then Cage shows up here, and he's being thrown right into a world title match at Double or Nothing. Cage's resume stays a lot, but I mean, the rankings, aren't people supposed to be in the ranking? I don't know. The rankings, I guess, are no longer important. Christian Cage is going to be the guy. And it's hard to get excited for Double or Nothing. Will this match be good in the ring? Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a good in-ring match. But overall, I'm disappointed in this aspect that we're going to get Christian Cage versus Swerve Strickland as Swerve Strickland's first title defense. It's like, can we not get somebody with a little more oomph, a little more viability, a little more that would feel like a credible threat to Swerve in his title reign? It's just a shame that we're getting Christian. Christian's done a lot. He's been a good character, but after he lost the TNT title, it's just like they've fallen off. This whole little group, this whole stable, the family, the patriarchy. I can't get excited behind it. Can't get excited about it. Because it's Christian Cage and Swerve needs somebody better to feel like it's a threat to his title run. And Christian Cage, which just says he's being served up on a platter to Swerve, and Swerve's going to move past Christian Cage to Forbidden Door, and then from Forbidden Door on to All In, where maybe we'll get a credible threat. So it's just kind of like, nah, nothing exciting really happened there. Nothing felt like anybody was strong. Even Christian Cage taking out Swerve didn't even really do much for Christian Cage, because it's the same thing with the patriarchy. It's just kind of repugnant. And I mean, it was Kill Switch now that won an opportunity to face the TNT champion, and Christian took that away from him, and they started selling its turn by a Kill Switch, and it just never happened. Never gotten anywhere. I mean, has anybody got any comments on that? Any thoughts on that? Am I still on air? Or is everybody checked out? I guess we'll wait to see what's going on there. I feel like I'm major. No, now we're back up to now we're doing crazy stuff again. Why are we having such issues? Let's see if we can come back up. All right. So we're here. And let's see. Maybe I can come over here and see. Do this. How long it takes to respond to everything. Not too bad of a lag there. I guess we are up and running. Everything looks okay at the moment. Anyways. From there, we got into the Adam Copeland was up next. Lights go out. Malachi Black cuts a short promo to play with Copeland, making it unclear who he's going to face, and out comes Buddy Matthews. And we get Adam Copeland versus Buddy Matthews for the TNT Championship match. We got a good match here. I mean, this is a really good match. Shockingly, it's both former WWE guys, so shouldn't be surprised. All right, Copeland and Buddy Matthews. They had a great match. Definitely back and forth. Really made Buddy Matthews look good like he should. We were at the 20-minute mark when Adam is in the corner. Buddy stands up opposite. He turns, spear attempt, but Buddy shoots him into the buckle. Go to sleep from Buddy Matthews. He's back in the corner, goes for a stomp, but Adam shoves him into the ropes and hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. This match went 20 minutes, 47 seconds. This was a good match. Probably picked up more to the end, but it was a good, solid match between Adam Copeland and Buddy Matthews here. I definitely enjoyed this. This was definitely one of the better matches I've seen with Adam Copeland in it. And it was good for a moment to see Buddy Matthews shining bright here. A little bit of a lag, though. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure we're lagging a little bit. Anyways, Adam is not done. We get commentary to playing, explaining the mist in his eyes. He's going to go crazy. He's going to hit Buddy Matthews with a concerto. The lights go out. When they come back on, Malachi Black standing next to Copeland, telling him to do it. Buddy Matthews gets on his knees and begs Adam to hit him with the chair. Adam turns to strike what looks like he's going to strike Malachi. The lights go out and they're gone. And Adam looks at himself. He drops the chair and kind of looks shocked, confused. I guess they're trying to sell the old story. I mean, it took a long time till the end of the match to sell a lot of that story. It is what it is. I think the match was good. The after part just kind of was like, nah. We've heard this. We've been through this. It is what it is. Okay. From there, we got into Isaiah Cassidy versus Samoa Joe. And we're talking about Samoa Joe, your former AEW World Champion, right? The guy at Dynasty who just lost the title to Swerve, the new AEW World Champion. And now he's fighting Isaiah Cassidy. And again, once you become World Champion in AEW and drop that title, where do you go? You go so far down the ladder, it's not even funny. Joe is fighting Isaiah Cassidy. This is Samoa Joe, the killer. Joe's gonna kill you. And here we are looking at him fighting Isaiah Cassidy. And a feed me match. It doesn't do anything for Isaiah Cassidy. He gets a muscle buster. He hits it with ease. 1, 2, 3. Done. This match went 3 minutes, 29 seconds. What a waste of time. And Joe doesn't even get on a mic and cut a promo. Joe has lost his title and has nothing to say about it. And you make Joe look like a booch. Joe doesn't get on the mic going, I lost my title. I'm coming back for it. I'm going to pave a road of destruction. I'm going to tear up nothing. Joe doesn't say he's fighting Isaiah Cassidy. Now, nobody can come out here and tell me that there's a justified reason for this. You can't give me any explanation that's going to justify why we have Joe fighting Isaiah Cassidy. Because it's ridiculous. It honestly is ridiculous to see this going on like this. Joe should be fighting somebody worth, or Joe should at least be showing some type of anger for losing the title and ready for revenge or something. But we are getting nothing. Nothing at all. And that's a damn shame right there that we're really getting nothing out of it. Nothing to progress this. Nothing to make this better. You know what I'm saying? It's a sad story. Oh, I just can't recover from earlier. See here. Change up something. God, I'm still choked up from when the show started. Yes, and I get that. It's a match for match sake, but it doesn't seem to really be... I don't know. I expect Joe to come back and be angry, not just like, oh, yay, I'm just going to beat this guy and move on. Okay, why am I opening windows every 2 seconds? Go away. Done? Okay. Anywho, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that match. It was what it was. Sky Blue gets a promo time focusing on Will Nightingale. She calls Stokely a bitch on a leash. Ha ha ha. She wants a title shot, and she's getting a title shot on Rampage later tonight. Orange Cassidy comes out with the energy of 1,000 sloths. Cassidy has a mic in his pocket. He pulls it out and says he hates this. He thought after Saturday when his best friends got into a parking lot, beat each other up, it would be get it all out of their systems. They'd all come back together as best friends, but that's never going to happen. He had been told that because of what Trent did to Chuck after the match, he has been told that Chuck will never wrestle again, yada, yada, yada. So now he is in the ring alone to tell Trent that the next. And then Trent Breddick comes to Miles saying, Orange, you make things about yourself. It's all about you. Wah, wah, wah. Orange runs out of the ring and up the ramp. Security stops him. Trent yells that Chuck's career is over because of him. He's too selfish. Chris Statlander comes up to break it off. And for some weird, bizarro, freaking reason, here comes Don Callis. He whispers in Orange Cassidy's ear, and Don takes Orange in the back. And Trent is left standing alone at the top of the ramp and gives us all the thumbs up. So Orange Cassidy leaves with He leaves with Don Callis. And yeah, it's crazy to think that that's how we do it here. That he has decided to walk out with Don Callis. What does that set up? We don't know. What will that mean in the future? I guess we're going to have to really wait and see how that plays out going forward from here. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see Don Callis getting involved in this in some way or another. Definitely going to be very interesting how that plays out in the future. Alrighty. Close. Anyways, we are backstage with Renee, who asks the Bucks if they have anything planned. They say she looks great, but they don't have time for this. They're looking for an old friend. They had way too much time tonight on Dynamite already and want to give some time to Jack Perry. Jack Perry's here to say that he meant what he said. The only thing he wants is what's best for AEW. Some might not be able to see it now, but that's what he did. Tony is the one who made Jack the scapegoat. It hurt at the time, but he accepted it. It was a sacrifice someone was going to have to make, but they all have to. Thanks to Tony, they are entering a new era under the Elite, yada, 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 trying to sell a storyline that I just don't know if it's there. Dynamite gets more exciting as we hear the Learning Tree. Yes, Chris Jericho is here playing the Learning Tree. He is out with the FTW champion. He's going to defend the FTW championship against Shibata. And I'm trying not to sneeze. Jericho comes out cheering himself, being this pageant queen. I don't know. They had an okay match. Shibata runs Codebreaker cover for a 2. I don't know either. I don't know why we're lighting Orange Cassidy, even any Orange Cassidy, joining the Don Callis family. I don't know what we're doing here. It's going to be a wait and see how it plays out. But Shibata clears the pucks. Oh, they got hockey pucks dumped in the ring at one point. One point, these two guys sat cross-legged with kendo sticks and were beating each other. It was an entertaining match. Yes. Jericho, keep him off my TV. Big Bill comes out and boots Shibata. Big Bill grabs Shibata and chokeslams him through a table. Bill leaves. Jericho covers. This match went 15 minutes, 20 seconds. Jericho gets a win over Shibata. And I'll see how Miguel Z feels about Shibata getting beat here by Chris Jericho and Big Bill. Match went 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Taz was not happy about any of this. Kept talking up Hook. Guess we'll just have to wait for Hook to get back from injury to hopefully take the belt back. Who knows? A week ago, Will's celebration was cut short by Mercedes backstage tonight. Renee is with Will, Nightgauntlet, Stokely, and Statlander. Chris apologizes because Mercedes had no right to come out. She just wanted to defuse the situation. She is so sorry. Will tells Mercedes she has something for her. As for Sky, if she wants a fight, she will mop the floor with Sky. She will maim her if this title is on the line. Stokely is upset that Sky said something about him, and he can't complain to nobody because the Bucks beat up Tony Khan. A stagehand gives Renee a phone that has a text from the Bucks saying she needs to smile more, and also Chris, Statlander, and Stokely were banned from ringside. Exciting stuff. Good promo. We didn't get the CEO tonight, so that's probably a good thing. We didn't get Will Ospreay tonight. So, we'll see how that affects things going forward. Anyways, next up was Claudio Castagnoli versus Brian Cage. And I know everybody was excited to see the Machine, who was part of the Mogul Embassy. But then it came out with Prince Nana. And Swerve is kind of off on his own as a babyface, and the Mogul Embassy seems to be a heel faction. So it's very confusing what they're going to do with him. Is this still a group, or is this a faction that's going to exist? Or are we going to have a falling out? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how this all plays going forward. Claudio and Brian Cage had a decent match. In the end, Claudio calls for the spin. The crowd wants it. He shoots his legs. Giant swing to Brian Cage. Wraps him in a sharpshooter. 9 minutes, 57 seconds. Brian Cage taps out. For a big man like Brian Cage to tap out to a sharpshooter, I don't know. It was a good match in the ring. It was filler match. I guess this is more of what people are looking for maybe on Dynamite, not to have certain matches and all these same people fighting every week, but having some different matches. I mean, I can't get too mad because it's a meaningless match that didn't really help build anything. But it was a decent match. It's just one of those things. You're like, okay. Why, when, and where? And then why did Brian Cage have to tap out like he did? I don't know. It was what it was. I don't know what anybody else thinks about it. It was a match for match sake, really. Rocky Romero cuts a promo about cutting off Orange and Trent and Chuck. He's going to focus on himself, and he will be challenging the best. He wants Kyle O'Reilly. He'll be facing Kyle O'Reilly on Rampage, which is after Dynamite. We'll get into that, too. Next, we had Serena Deeb and Mariah May in a match. It was a decent little match here. Good, solid back and forth. Eventually, Tony is in nearby cheering on Mariah May. Deb pulls her to the center. Deb Deb catches the legs and brings May down to the mat with a single leg crab. May reaches for the ropes, but Tony's cheering her on. Deb then pulls her to the center ring and starts just slamming her Mariah May's knee into the mat over and over, and then pulls up on the single leg crab. Tony Storm can't take it anymore and tosses in the towel, screaming she's a child. Serena Deeb wins via the towel of the I guess very old school. We haven't seen this in a long time, but Tony Storm threw in the towel. Saving Mariah May. A decent little match. Made Serena Deeb definitely look strong going into what will now be her match against Tony Storm at Double or Nothing for the women's title. Serena Deeb going to get fed to Tony Storm, but I guess if they make her look strong for the next couple weeks while leading into this pay-per-view, it'll be okay. She looked good in this. They're making Mariah May look weak. Of course, this storyline is going to be interesting because Mariah May didn't submit. Tony Storm threw in the towel, so I wonder if we're going to follow an old lineage that would come from Brett and Owen in a certain time period. We're going to have to see how that all plays out. It is what it is. Serena Deeb getting another shot at the women's title. Beating Mariah May, so, I mean, at least there's a purpose. At least there's a reason, a little more than just getting a title shot. Backstage, Renee asks Adam Copeland if he's okay. Adam hesitates and answers, "Yeah, he's okay." Kyle O'Reilly comes in and offers some help. Adam notices Kyle looking at the TNT title, and Adam pulls his eyes up here. He wishes Kyle good luck for his match later tonight. Justin Roberts is in the ring and overplays the announcement of Kenny Omega. We're like 5 minutes left into Dynamite before we're supposed to be switching over to Rampage. And here we get Kenny Omega in the last moments with the super over-the-top welcome home. Kenny Omega comes out in a nice suit, and he's here to talk to us. And he says he's never been good at these sort of things. Talking about injury, sickness, weakness. A few months back, he was diagnosed with diverticulitis. He will spare us the gory details, but after spending 10 days in the hospital, he was told that he was one of the lucky ones. He was 24 hours away from dying. And he said, "Cool story, Doc." He said, "Can you patch me up and send me back to Dynamite?" And the doc said, "It's not that simple. If they cut him open now, they'll have to have a colostomy bag for 6 months, maybe 12 months, maybe even the rest of his life. And if he doesn't," he asked the doctor. The doctor said, "That's fine, but for the rest of his life, he'll have a ticking time bomb in his gut. One day he may wake up in the hospital having the surgery done anyway. Any sort of blunt force trauma to the stomach could kill him. Since that day, he had to stop." Can he get choked up here? He says he had to stop watching because his hands would shake. He was scared for the first time in his career. He felt like a coward. He thought maybe the point today was to come out here and explain that he had to retire. Then he turned on AEW for the first time and watched Dynasty. He saw Swerve make history. He saw Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson put on one of the greatest matches he's ever seen. He wishes he could say he was happy, but the tremors got worse. He then thought, is he really afraid of being a wrestler? He was shaking because of withdrawals. He needed to get back in this ring. Living is being in this ring. Being the best is what fueled him. It hurt him, and he hated it. All the best shows, all the best wrestlers, all in the combo, and he had already been forgotten. This isn't over until he's exhausted every option. If there's even 1% chance, bag or no bag, we are not done with Omega yet. He made a mission statement to change the world, and that brings him on to the second piece of business. Speaking of shitbags, which he gets bleeped out here for some reason, let's talk about two others, Matthew and Nicholas. They have embarrassed themselves more than ever. They are free to do this as EVPs, but there is one other of those. He may be fired from the Elite, but he can't be fired as an EVP. So until someone says otherwise, a part of the power in this company belongs to the Best Bout machine. This brings out soft serve ice cream vanilla in his suit. Okada, they get face to face. I don't know anybody got this. Omega challenged Okada in a couple months to a match. Okada turns him down. Jack Perry takes Omega from behind after Okada says he's the Best Bout machine. Perry goes for the chair shot, hitting security guard as they try to enter Perry with a chair shot to the stomach on Omega, and he lays out Omega. And here come the Young Bucks who show fake concern. They're trying to do the same thing they did with Tony. Why'd you do it, Perry? Why'd you do it? Then they eventually hit an EVP trigger on Omega, and they're handing up the ramp as the show ends, yada, yada, yada. I mean, we knew they were going to probably attack Omega when we started seeing this all play out. The thing for me was it felt so much the same. It was too much the same as when they did this to Tony. It was the same setup, the same maneuvers. It's like, I get it. You want to do this. You want to take him out. Why couldn't you have done something a little different? Set it up a little differently. Ended it differently. It was just the same thing. The Bucks came out, fake for pretend, and took an EVP trigger to Omega. And then in the middle of this, we started transferring over to Rampage. And we are still live in the process of Kenny Omega speaking about the diagnosis, yada, yada. Bucks hit MVP triggers. This does bring out FTR. FTR get beaten up for their efforts. Omega's on a stretcher. At least they put him on a stretcher. At least they brought the stretcher out and laid him on the stretcher and took him in the back with the stretcher. Tony Khan, they didn't even end the show with him on a stretcher. Omega, they put him on a stretcher. Eventually, they got Omega in the back. And FTR is there, but here comes the Elite. They take him out, and eventually the Young Bucks dump Omega, who's on the stretcher, back onto the concrete exposed floor. And so, yeah. In ring, same thing. We go backstage. We're definitely taking out Omega again, which is very confusing because Omega's not cleared the wrestle. I know people are out here saying, oh, if you took that much of a beating, you should have been cleared. Again, he can take some hits and stuff, but he's not, he hasn't had the surgery. And so there's still chances that anything can happen here. I don't know how the storyline's going to go. The way they took out Omega again, Omega's going to be away again. It's kind of like, why bring Omega back just to take him out again? Omega really didn't set up anything except say he has some power. So unless he's going to pass his power to somebody, I guess some of it we're going to have to wait play out. I wish they would have done a different. I mean, I don't know why the Young Bucks tried to pretend they were happy, trying to support Omega and mad at Perry after they fired Omega. They just did the same setup that they did for Tony, and it was just kind of disappointing that they couldn't have done something slightly different, something a little more original, something that made it feel a little bit different than just rinse, repeat, do it again. And I think this is why some people feel like Redacted is booking the show. Or Tony Khan's taking a page out of Redacted's page book. Let's just repeat the same thing. Anyways, we come back and we switch over to Rampage and we have Jay White with Dante Martin. And somebody tell me why there was 9 titles. The trios, the World Trios, Unified World Trios champions had 9 titles. So they had the Ring of Honor and the AEW Trios championships. They had the pink ones with the, from the Acclaimed. And then they had another set that looked like the original AEW Trios titles. But I'm like, why are they carrying the original AEW Trios titles and the pink Acclaimed ones at this point? And why are they even clean? I mean, I get for a little bit maybe, and if they were building into a storyline like we got your titles, but they're not even doing anything with them. So why are they still clearing around the Acclaimed pink titles? That just doesn't make sense. Now they've got 9 titles. They all 3 are carrying 3 titles, and I don't know if they earn another set of trios titles from somewhere, or if it's the AEW regular trios titles. But Jay White versus Dante Martin, because both these teams are trios. Yay. Was it a good match? It was a match. It's hard to get behind when you're looking at Jay White wrestling on Rampage. After a Dynamite, he's regulated to the C show. Rampage will be the C show. Even if it's the extra hour after Dynamite, it's still the C show. There's not much to say here. It was a match. In 11 minutes, Jay White wins. Post-match, Jay White appears to be a good sport in holding Dante's hand up high. It doesn't take long as White hits him with a cheap attack and clears the ring. The rest of the top flight arrives. Backstage, we are introduced to a new backstage interviewer, but we don't get her name. The interviewer talks to Deonna Purrazzo as she feels things have become personal with her and Thunder Rosa. At the same time, Purrazzo is irritated by the disrespect she's been given since arriving at AEW. As far as Deonna is concerned, she's been a veteran of the business for years upon years now. Shout out to the community member Ryan, as the interviewer's name is Arcady. Elsewhere, Rush's vignette shown as he wants his name respected. Backstage, Renee Paquette is with Big Bill as he feels he has all the tools to make it to the top of the industry. Bill feels the only thing missing is a person who can take him under his wing and teach him. So Bill begs Jericho one last time to teach him. Jericho appears to welcome him into the Jericho Vortex, and Bill appreciates and promises not to let Jericho down. So Rush gets a vignette that gets squashed between 2 interviews. Deonna Purrazzo finally gives a positive interview that we're hoping will lead to something bigger. And Big Bill is under the learning tree of Chris Jericho, or joining the Jericho Vortex, which hopefully doesn't become the next Jericho group. The Jericho Appreciation Society, the Inner Circle. Are we going to get the Jericho Vortex? Is this what we're going to lead to? Is Jericho going to gather himself another crew of idiots? Anywho, we're going to get back here. Anyways, from there we get a recap of Dynamite. In case you haven't been watching Dynamite and only turned in to watch Rampage, because why? I have no clue. We get a recap of everything. Kyle O'Reilly versus Rocky Romero. Solid little match here. Kyle O'Reilly gets a win. This Rocky Romero will be a jobber to AEW forever. Great technical match, I can agree with. And that's about the biggest thing you can really get into all this. It is what it is. Backstage, Aurora with Mariah May and Saraya as the challenge is put out for May to face Toni Storm on Dynamite next week. Back from another commercial, Undisputed Kingdom is here. Roderick Strong tells Ospreay to resurrect the Tiger Driver. Ospreay will need everything against him, but in the end, Ospreay will fall to the Messiah of the Neckbreaker. Okay. And then we go on into our main event. Will Nightingale versus Sky Blue. Yeah, we're having technical difficulties with the feed cutting off. We should be good now. Everything seems to be running at full capacity. We'll see. It's recording, so you can watch it better afterwards if it's not pretty right now, unfortunately. But it's showing full bars and we're in the green now. Can't control everything. Anyways, Will Nightingale and Sky Blue, which was actually a pretty dang good match. This was a Quebec Massacre or some type of match that I forget the title name of it. Anyways, we get everything in here. We eventually get a gut wrench powerbomb into a table with razor wire onto it. Will Nightingale gets a big win here. 1, 2, 3. A solid win for Will Nightingale. 11 minutes. Sky Blue gets fed to Will Nightingale. But honestly, it was a good match. For 3 hours of wrestling, ended on this. I don't think you can be too mad. It was a good, solid match. Not perfect, but it was good. It did what it did. And this week's Dynamite Rampage combo was what it was. I mean, well, no, I didn't expect anything else for Sky Blue. Let's be fed the Will Nightingale, but at least they gave us a little decent street fight match. Both women looked good. It was probably the best match of the night. If I look at all 3 hours and run down the card, I think it was the most exciting match. So Adam Copeland definitely had, he had a decent good match against Buddy Matthews, but I think the women kind of took it there. Adam Copeland to me is kind of flat, and the TNT title just doesn't seem of some important Malachi Black storyline that we're gonna get here with the Mist. It's kind of like, do we really need to repeat this? We sprayed you in the eyes with the Mist. Now you're gonna fall in line with us. You're gonna fight the evil powers of the Mist. Yada yada. Rehash. It's just like, okay. Christian getting a title shot against Swerve. I guess if you go based on the resume of Christian, you can say, okay, he deserves a world title shot, but he's getting fed to Swerve, so it's hard to get behind that because there's nothing there. I don't really understand how somebody loses a title and it gets to be instantly the very next thing they get is another title match for a different title, for a title that should be a higher ranking title. Now people are going to say, well, I support Gunther going from the Intercontinental title into the main event for the world title. Yes, but not right away. He's definitely got to earn that. He definitely needs to be put in the world title picture. Could Christian be in that world title picture in AEW? Sure, if they were to build him that way. But here's the thing. Christian's been off TV for over a month. I mean, Christian lost his title at Revolution. And we had another pay-per-view. And Christian hasn't had anything to do with anything. And all of a sudden he comes back and he's instantly being thrown into a match feud situation with Swerve. Gunther, he did take some time off, but they're still playing with his character. They're still talking about him. And he's going in the King of the Ring. He's not being ran right up the ladder for a world title match. And he's probably going to go win the King of the Ring. And that'll be a good placeholder for him. He's going to do something else to step his name up one more level. Christian Cage, what has he really done? So yes, there is a difference to say Gunther lost the title. Does he deserve to be pushed into the world title picture? Yes, he deserves to be pushed into the world title picture. I'm not saying he deserves to be on Backlash facing Cody or Damian Priest for the main titles in WWE TV. So for Christian to lose a title and do nothing and just disappear off TV and then all of a sudden come back because it's Canada and he's Canadian and we're going to make him the number one contender when he's done nothing. Yes, he was great carrying the TNT title, made the TNT title feel important, but he's lost that TNT title, and there was no follow-up. There wasn't anything to project him to the next stage. They just brought him back and here's the challenger, and it's a feed me match. Gunther isn't going to get fed to a world champion as easily. It's going to be a better fight. At least Gunther feels like it would be, even if he were to lose, it still feel like he would have the opportunity to win. Christian, you just know he's going into Swerve to lose. So why not give Swerve somebody else that's a little bit stronger, a little bit more of a level on the same playing field? Somebody that we could actually might get behind and go, well, maybe they will take it off at Swerve. Not that I would think it is, but I mean, I just feel like there's more people that are more there than Swerve. Or hell, at least give me a Joe rematch. But Joe comes out and fights Isaiah Cassidy and doesn't say a word about losing the title, and that is bullshit. That is the biggest piece of bullshit from the night. How do you have Samoa Joe, who is just a monster badass, come out and fight a nobody in Isaiah Cassidy. I'm sorry, I don't want to say that Isaiah Cassidy is a nobody, but when you look at Joe and Isaiah Cassidy, you look at Isaiah Cassidy and go, who are you? They're not on that same level. And so when you just feature Joe after losing the title to Isaiah Cassidy to be fed to Joe, and then Joe doesn't even do any follow-up. He just beats him, leaves, and that's it. Joe, this is what happens when you're an AEW champion. The worst thing is to lose the AEW championship because you become nothing. Now, Swerve is supposed to be back next week with some backup. He's going to have a face-to-face with Christian. Will this backup be the Mogul Embassy? Are they going to bring back the Mogul Embassy in a whole? Will he call on an old friend that's been out injured and maybe he can at least get involved in some way? Could we be basking in his glory again? We'll have to see next week on Dynamite how that plays into everything. But overall, let's see here. We got a mix. We got a mix tonight. We got 40% saying this is Dynamite. It's your average Dynamite. We got 20% saying they're cooking, 20% they're grinding, and 20% saying redacted booking. I don't think they're cooking. It wasn't a horrible show like last week. It was a decent show. You had some good matches. I don't think the grind's there. Well, somebody else is now saying that redacted is booking at 33%, and this is Dynamite. So people mixing up the whole thing here. Again, this was a decent show. The matches were better than last week's stuff. But it didn't really build to anything, and we're building to Double or Nothing. We know Serena Deeb's going to take on Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Champion, which is okay. They had Will win a match, and they didn't give us Mercedes Moné tonight, which is okay. And Swerve getting Christian Cage. I'm just sorry. I'm not going to get into it. It's going to be like the match. It'll be okay. I think Swerve is a little above and beyond. Wow. Now we're at 43% with this is redacted booking, and 29% this is Dynamite, 14% for their grinding and their cooking. I don't know if Christian can keep up with Swerve. Nothing against Christian, he's good, but I just don't know if the match will be the caliber of a main event for a Double or Nothing, which should be traditionally like AEW's second biggest pay-per-view, All In, or third, depending on how we want to look at it now, because we have All In and All Out, and then Double or Nothing. I mean, this is the stay Swerve versus Christian as your main event at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. I don't know. I mean, it'd be a good match, but I don't know if it's going to live up to the pay-per-view level that people want it to be. And I just don't think it's the right place for Christian. Yes, Heisman. I mean, I think, I think a lot of people got excited that Tony Khan was injured, so maybe he wouldn't be involved and that other people would be involved. I know there was a lot of people talking about Scott D'Amore. Was Tony Khan going to bring Scott D'Amore as a special person that was hyped up to take over for Tony Khan? And I guess we didn't really ever get anybody. We found out the Young Bucks are in charge. Kenny Omega was also in power, but now he's been taken out, so I don't know what that'll play in, or if he's going to pass his power temporarily or assign somebody to hold his power. TK didn't really play any extra in this, but we know he's still booking and controlling it. And so I know a lot of people thought Scott D'Amore was going to come in and fix it, and I was like, I hope not, because if Scott D'Amore is just used as a personality on TV, as an authority figure, it's a waste. Scott D'Amore is one of the greatest creative minds in professional wrestling, and I think we're seeing in the fallout of TNA after they let Scott D'Amore go, they're definitely hurting. Their last pay-per-view, Rebellion, only got 500 buys. That is not good, and it's an interesting place. So Scott D'Amore being on AEW, unless he's being used in a creative way to help give creative and booking as an authority figure, it's a waste. It's a waste of what this man's real talent is. And if Tony Khan's not going to allow him to do more than just be an on-screen character, and I don't think Tony Khan ever wants to give away that power. I think Tony Khan is obsessed with that power and that control. I think that's where the mark in him comes out. Because I think he's booking for those people that celebrate him and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And somewhere he's become delusional in what he's created. Gabe Sapolsky. Gabe Sapolsky, yes, is a great name. And I agree with you. Omega is one of the best wrestlers of this era, one of the best of all times. But right now with his situation, you know, I don't know when we'll see Omega really back to being what he can be. No, you're good. And the Young Bucks, like for us, I mean, that's why they got the nickname #Tampon Bucks. They're the Tampon Bucks. I never liked the Young Bucks. To me, they're flippity floppity flu floppities, and every match with them is the same. They have to get in every move and let their opponents get in every move, and it's just so flippity floppity, and they kick out of every freaking move, and it's just like I'm not that impressed with them, young schmucks. But it's sad. I don't know where this EVP storyline is going to go. I don't know how it's going to play out. But if Tony Khan's not willing to let real people come in and have some power, some control, some say, and I don't think he will. I think he's too full of himself. I think when he was facing Vince McMahon, and in the beginning, when everybody was looking for something different, he was hot. Of course, he had some other people around him. Mainly one of those names would have been Cody Rhodes. I think once Cody left AEW kind of wavered and lost its identity. And then when they had to fall out with Punk, I think a lot of people turned against it when they fired Punk, and it just never seems to be on the right track. And I know people are going to debate that there's stories there. They're telling stories, but it's like AEW stories, they're there, but they come to a point and they just kind of drop off an edge of a cliff, and you're just kind of like, yeah, where did that go? I mean, look at the Undisputed Kingdom. They were supposed to be this mercenary team, and now we know Adam Copeland's up and walking, but we haven't seen Adam Copeland make any play. Why is Adam Copeland, Adam Copeland's buddy with the Bucks, right? Am I wrong? Wasn't Adam Copeland buddy with the Bucks? So why isn't Adam Copeland making his return to make the challenge for the AEW title against Swerve? That would be a better match. Maybe he's not cleared. I understand that. Just because we've seen him walk may not mean he's completely cleared. And that's fine. That's a whole other situation. Anyways, I rambled on long enough, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for being here. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for voting. I thank you for getting in the chat. I hope our thing gets better next week. I'm going to have to do some work on seeing why our transfer rates are dropping on the stream. Am I saying something wrong? Adam Cole. Yes, I mean Adam Cole. Am I saying Adam Copeland? Adam Cole, Undisputed Kingdom. I'm rambling on, but Adam Cole should be the next contender for the world title. The leader of Undisputed Kingdom. Right, there's a storyline, isn't it? All the factions. Cole needs to gain weight. It is what it is. Anyways, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. All the likes help us grow, help us get out there in the algorithm. Ring the bell for notifications so whenever we go live or new content comes up, you'll know. Tomorrow you should see. Thursday we'll bring you This Week in Preview, which gives you the whole week in preview from Thursday till next Wednesday, covering TNA, SmackDown, pay-per-views over the weekend, then Monday Night Raw, NXT, and next week's Dynamite to let you know what's going on there. Collision. There's no Collision this week, so that won't be covered. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Make sure you hit that like button. We need all the likes we can get. From there, we do have Friday Night SmackDown. We'll be back here live to go over everything on SmackDown. This will be the last SmackDown before the draft goes official, and we'll be looking into Backlash on Saturday. Saturday afternoon sometime, me, Mr. Clark, and Miguel Z will join all together to give you a post-show review of a WWE Backlash live from France. So we'll be covering that show Saturday at some point in time. We haven't discussed it yet, but we'll let you know. Sunday we'll bring you this week the weekly roundup podcast where we all sat down and talk about this week in professional wrestling, and it's all back all over. Monday Night Raw. Tuesdays are always your New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast with Mr. Miguel Z. He's going to break down everything going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let you get to catch up on there, and then we'll be back next week for another Dynamite episode as we lead into the rest of May, building in to, of course, Backlash this weekend, and then at the end of the month, we have the King and the Queen of the Ring coming from Saudi Arabia, and of course, AEW's Double or Nothing that Sunday. It'll be a busy weekend then, so make sure you join us for all of that. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Join the Value Wrestling family. We're getting close to big numbers, and we can't wait to hit some of these big numbers and these big events. So we need your support, and we appreciate everybody who's joined the Value Wrestling family. We are growing. We're going to get bigger. We are here to be contenders, not pretenders. So be ready for the adventure about to go on. I'm going to get out of here, and I will see you on the next one.